Well, a big part of the Mother Road Festival in Springfield, this year's headliner, Adrienne Janic, and she has just made waves in many aspects. You're almost like the EGOT people, modeling, acting, and hosting a great run on Overhaulin. And well, first up, can I call you AJ or should I stick with Adrienne?
Call me AJ. That's what everybody knows me by in the automotive world, and that's what my friends call me. So AJ's perfectly fine.
Yeah, it's a great story, and just tell us about the evolution of your career. I guess it started off in modeling and just kind of grew from there.
Oh gosh, I mean, you want to go way far back?
Oh, let's go hit the way back machine, sure.
Okay, well, my gosh, I mean, in high school, Hollywood, even though I lived 30 minutes from Los Angeles, it seemed so far away. So the thought of being in the industry didn't really seem like I could attain it. So I was actually going to join the military and join the Air Force so I could travel, see the world, and serve the country. And then a little turn of events at the supermarket in the cheese department, I was discovered by a modeling scout. And that kind of changed the trajectory from the military to the Hollywood industry.
Isn't that something? And
yeah.
I know my military career never happened because I was colorblind, and I think I can understand the risks that goes with that. But it is something, how life turns on a dime like that. And yeah, you didn't exactly go to the low-rent part of the modeling world. You went to the biggest name of them all.
Yeah, well, I ended up doing the Ford Supermodel of the World contest because at the time they had the Elite Model Look of the Year, and then they had the Ford Supermodel. So I was like, let me try this contest. I didn't win, but I still got signed by Eileen Ford, and I got to meet her, and it's just been such an amazing ride. I mean, I got to travel and see the world. I've been to parts of the world I never thought I'd ever get a chance to go to. And from modeling, I kind of branched off and doing commercials and a little bit of TV. So it all just kind of snowballed to things that I always dreamed of that I never thought I would be doing.
Well, in modeling, I'm sure one of the things that maybe even was a frustration back in those days, sometimes an under-respected art, because it is a process, and I can imagine it's akin to acting, where you're, even though there's not a role, a character associated, you're kind of filling a different mood or a mindset for all of these, products you're promoting or anything else for that matter.
Oh, definitely. And I don't know if a lot of people know this, but, with print work, we always are about 3 to 4 months ahead. So whatever you see in a magazine today, that was shot 3 to 4 months ago. So basically, when we were shooting winter clothes, it was summertime. So it could be 90-degree heat, and then they have me in a wool sweater. Or if we're in the middle of December, we're shooting spring-summer, and it's freezing outside, and we're in shorts and a tank top. So that part was challenging. And, of course, we have to make it look like it's that particular season if we're shooting outside. And also, to the rule of thumb in modeling, if you feel uncomfortable, let's say you're standing a certain way or they have you sitting a certain way, if you're feeling like, oh gosh, this doesn't feel right, it actually looks good. It'll look good in the print, in the final product.
Sure.
So, modeling was fun. I mean, I had a great time. I had a great run with it. But after a while, I was like, you know what? TV was just calling me more. So I started doing more commercial work and acting just to kind of get my feet wet in the television part of it all.
Some commercials, like, let's say, okay, well, we want you to do a Mentos commercial. So you've got to make exaggerated facial expressions. And then the next day it's like, okay, hey, we'd like you to do one of these Fortune 500 companies and play it straight.
Okay, yeah. No, I mean, speaking of exaggerated expression. So I was a Fanta girl for 4 years. You know, the girls that sang and danced with an ice cold Fanta.
Yes.
That we had to be overly exaggerated. And I thought, oh my gosh, what is this going to look like? At the time, they were bringing back the soda. It still hadn't relaunched in the United States. So I had no idea what I was even doing. I just know I was singing and dancing with a soda in my hand, and I thought, okay, this is either going to be really cheesy or who knows, and it just became this pop culture hit. So I know at the time, you know, either liked us or hated us because the song was stuck in your head where it's like, wanna Fanta, don't you wanna? And, you know, here we are, these four Fanta girls rescuing people on a hot, sweaty day. So it was fun. That was probably one of my favorite commercials where we were just overly exaggerated. And then, like you said, the next minute, you know, I would say a couple months after that, I did a Bausch & Lomb commercial where I had to be an office girl working at a computer. So I had to be very just straight, very conservative, like just clicking away at my keyboard. So, yeah, there's a lot of extremes like that.
Yeah, the Fanta girls, it kind of reminds me of the sirens of Greek mythology. You could have just let
nice. Okay.
You could have just led anybody anywhere to doom or
True.
But
I mean, all it took was an ice cold Fanta.
And that really was a special era, Madison Avenue and elevated period for commercials.
I honestly miss those days. I have to say commercials are not what they used to be.
Well, and you talk about getting into Overhaulin, which I know is one of the connections that has led you to be a part of the Mother Road Festival.
Yes.
From what I understand, at the get-go, it's not like you were somebody who got under the hood all the time, and it's just something where, just like anything you did, acting, modeling, or whatever, you just pressed on, really invested yourself, and by the time all things were said and done, you knew a thing or two. Kind of a car surgeon after a while.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was very honest when I joined Overhaulin because after the first co-host left to pursue other opportunities, they needed a new co-host. And at the time, I was on Overhaulin, but just doing the pranks as an actress. So when they said, hey, can you be our new co-host, I thought, I don't think I'm the right girl for you because I don't know anything about cars. I came from the fashion industry. Did theater. I did Shakespeare, you know, so I don't know if I'm the right girl for you. So they said, no, you'll be great. So finally when I did accept, I said, listen, I'll take the job, but just don't have me pretend to act like I know about cars, because from what I've been seeing, the automotive world knows who's the real deal and who's a fake. So if I just kind of play it honest and ask the questions that maybe the wife or the girlfriend or even people in general at home watching want to know about cars, let's have that part of the audience learn along with me. So that's how I played it, and I learned quite a bit. I mean, I had the best teachers in the world, from Chip Booth and everybody that's been on the show, and I caught the car bug on that show. And I remember saying, wow, I get it now. Like this, I understand the passion and the love for classics and muscle cars and hot rods and everything in between. And I just loved every minute of it.
Were you ever tempted to use that Shakespearean experience when a car that everybody worked so hard to restore, you know, before you put the key in the ignition and turned it, did you just want to say to be or not to be?
Or not to be.
I couldn't.
No soliloquies or Shakespearean monologues for me on the show. So it's been so much fun, and I just appreciate just everything about cars. And it's funny because, fun little story, before I got on Overhaulin, I had a boyfriend when I was like 18, 19, and he was so into cars. Like, he was a Ford guy, had his Mustangs, loved to get nitrous gas to go racing, and every single argument we would have was about him working on his car. And I would always say, I don't get it. You and your stupid car and your stupid Mustang, all this stuff. I mean, I probably said every bad thing in the book. Fast forward, I run into him at SEMA years later, and he goes, hey, AJ, so how's it going, Miss? I hate what you do under the hood type of thing. So he was a great sport, but it was just kind of funny because here I was kind of giving him a hard time for working on his car, and then I ended up on Overhaulin, which he ended up watching.
Well, I must say, in his shoes, I would have become a big Shakespeare fan, but that's something. But so you get on that show, and it was, as you said, it was an authentic experience. And did you hear from women who, I look at Ford had the commercial with Sydney Sweeney on a creeper underneath an F-150 or something. Did you ever hear from women who said, you know what, I always loved cars, and I always felt like I wasn't invited to talk about them or work on them, and got the cold shoulder that you kind of opened some doors for them or gave them that little boost? You know what? You're not going to kick me out of here.
Yeah, no, I've had a lot of women over the years, and even young girls say, oh my gosh, we look up to you because you're, working alongside, a bunch of gearheads and learning about cars, and you gave us what's the word I'm looking for?
Inspiration.
Sorry, I'm in an airport right now, so I hope you're not hearing all the background.
Oh, that's part of the fun. Planes, trains, and automobiles.
Yeah, that's part of the fun. Exactly. So no, I just feel like I helped give them the motivation to learn more about cars, whether it's their own car or a classic, because I always say, if I could do it, and I had no automotive background, anybody can. So, and I always tell other women, or just, people in general, don't be afraid to learn about your car. Learn how it feels, like, if your alignment's off, or if it has a certain smell coming through the vents, or there's a certain sound rattling. Start there, so when you actually go to the mechanic or to the shop to get your car tuned up, or oil change, you know what you're talking about. So I think over the years, you're starting to see more and more women in the industry, because, at the end of the day, it is a boys' club, but I feel it's a lot more open to women, and it's not as intimidating as it was before.
Well, I'll just a couple more questions if that works, because I know you've got a plane to catch, but speaking of women and inspiring them, I'm sure when you got into modeling, you heard, enjoy it while it lasts, like the ticking time bomb. You turn 30 and it's all over, kid. I'm sure you heard that from some people. And still going strong. I can imagine, we've had this conversation that, there's life after 30, after 40, and onward and onward. And you get a lot of feedback on that front?
Yeah, when I first started, because I'm very honest about everything. If you ask me a question, I'm going to answer it. So I started as a teen in the industry in the 90s, and I was always told then by 25, 26, you're not going to be modeling after that. Like, start thinking about doing something else. So I thought, you know what, okay, it'll be a fun run, and who knows where it's going to lead me. Well, I was doing teen magazine and prom catalogs and 17 magazine when I was 26, 27 years old. So I was like, okay, where is this I'm still kind of going. And when I hit Fanta, that was a huge campaign. I felt like that kind of gave me a boost into the more commercial and TV world. But still, at the time, it was like, don't tell them they're your real age. Because at the time I was 30. I think it was like about 30 years old when I was a Fanta girl. And I had to still lie about my age, because at the time it was a little bit easier to lie about your age. Nowadays you could just type in the name and you could find out everybody's information. But I honestly feel very, very lucky and grateful, because I thought I was going to be done at 26, and here I am. I don't know if you saw my Instagram page or even my Facebook page. I became a Golden Girl last year and turned the big 5-0. And so far I'm still going. I always tell people, I think I'll probably retire when people stop wanting to work with me. So as long as people still want to work with me, then I'm happy to do so.
Boy, people don't really want to go back and talk about COVID, but I know it's changed things in show business, and for someone like yourself, making money in modeling and new media and everything, and you had a fantastic calendar. And
thank you.
Oh my gosh, it was great art pieces, great stock paper. I mean, it was just classic. And I know COVID just landed like a big boulder on that and a lot of things. How much of a punch to the gut was that for you financially, career-wise, and everything else? And what did it take to get through that?
Oh, gosh. I mean, Hollywood took a really big hit with COVID. I mean, for a while, as you saw the programming, people were filming shows either on their iPhone or the quality wasn't great, the sound was horrible, and, you know, people were doing everything remote. So I think that kind of changed a lot of things in the industry, how things are done. I feel I don't know if it's recovered or it's really been the same. My calendar, I was ready to do this kind of nationwide tour with my calendar, and obviously you couldn't travel anymore. I mean, I still have plenty of orders and, you know, sent them off, which was great, so I'm grateful for that. But the industry has definitely changed post-COVID. I don't know. It's just people, if I'm being honest, I feel people don't really want to work as much, but they still want the same outcome. And to me, it doesn't work that way, especially in this industry. I mean, this industry is 12 to 16-hour days. You know, we don't work Monday to Friday, you know, 9 to 5. But it just seems like people don't want to work, but want the same kind of outcome. And it's just bizarre to me because I don't come from that generation. I came from the generation in the 90s and, you know, early 2000s where, you know, it was just, you just kept grinding. And now everybody wants to do things from their house. It's weird.
Everybody has a podcast, yeah. Well,
yeah. And it's great. It's good for them if they can have success in that or find success in, you know, kind of recreating certain things like podcasts and their own content. I think that's amazing. But that's, you know, I guess as an artist, you just kind of have to reinvent yourself every year. You just kind of think, okay, what can I do next? What can I do next? Which is kind of where I'm at too right now. I'm kind of working on a new project that I'm creating myself, and we'll see where it goes.
A lot of artificial flavors in emotional television, emotional stuff out there. You know, things are manipulated and everything. And when it came to overhauling, those moments, the stories and the moment that key turned, that's as authentic as it gets. I can imagine those are some powerful moments, especially talking about young people lost and that was their car. I can imagine it was hard to keep a dry eye on while the camera was rolling.
Yeah, no, it's funny because I always say Overhaulin was probably one of the only shows that can make grown men cry, especially when you would see that they would pop the hood and they would see what was, you know, the kind of engine we put in and transmission. It would just be waterworks. And not just for that, but like you said, it was the story behind it and, you know, the history of why they were deserving of becoming overhauled. And it was genuine. The stories were emotional. I mean, I think I like to say I'm pretty stoic. I probably cried a couple of times, and I did cry when Chip presented me with my own plate when we traded places, and I got to be the lead designer, and he got to be the co-host. So there's just so many great memories, authentic emotions, and everything was just so genuine. There was no drama. The star of the show was the car and the story and the person we were overhauling, so there was no egos on set. It was just a good family show, and I think that's why people still enjoy watching it today, because you don't get that kind of programming anymore.
Well, I will shut up because we could talk about how you turn back the hands of time and everything else you do, but sure, great to talk to you. Look forward to seeing you in Springfield. Again, just a great hands-on meet and greet opportunity.
Yeah, no, and I tell people if you're in the area or thinking about coming by the event, please come by and say hi. It's my first time there, so I'm really excited to see Springfield, visit, say hi to everybody and meet Overhaulin fans, and hopefully I get to walk around, because I know when I go to SEMA every year to host Battle of the Builders, I don't get a chance to enjoy SEMA. People always say, "Oh, you're so lucky you get to go to SEMA." I said, "Yeah, it's great, but I don't get to walk the show like everybody else does." So I'm hoping I can get a chance to walk around and enjoy the event as well and meet everybody.
Well, stay away from the local food, the horseshoe. 2 pieces of Texas toast, meat on top, fries on top, cheese on top, because it wrecked my life. So that's the thing. Look, stay away from the horseshoe and the pony shoe.
Okay, good to know.
It'll put you on the modeling injured reserve or something. But anyway, AJ, thank you so much.
No, thank you, and I look forward to the big show tomorrow.
Well, thanks to AJ. There are a lot of great events that she'll be a part of. She'll do a meet and greet from 10 to 11 Saturday morning at 5th and Adams at the Recon booth, and also she'll pay a visit to the Miss Mother Road contest and the Burnout competition as well. So check that out on Saturday. You can find out more at Route66Fest.com. 6:15 this evening as of Friday. It's Route 66 City Nights Cruise for Crime Stoppers and music from Lady Luck with rock and pop at the Isringhausen Imports main stage at 7th and Washington. Again, a great series of events on Saturday. The Old State Capitol Farmers Market squeezed in too. And the Visitor Center at 109 North 7th. That is a great venue to find out more. Just a great day of activities on Saturday and certainly Sunday as well, as you have the Automotive Eye Candy in the Monet of Cars, 6th and Monroe, featuring cars of the legendary Dick Levi. Also, great music of Bon Journeyed Saturday from 8 to 10, Rosie and the Rivets from 5 to 7, and live music from the 66 Ramblers from 1 to 3. It's good stuff, and you want to check that out. Downtown Springfield.